Dumpling, it's your Blank. Welcome to the Contour Show. And doing website, having a wonderful day. We're ready to go, so we're gonna be starting to film with this one, with this phone. I'm gonna have a wonderful day of content creation. It's gonna be really nice, and that is pretty much it. So enjoy. Nice. Okay. Perfect. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Next. Um. Okay. So what is the first one? I think we wrote it here. Okay, good. Dumpling, yes, your boy. Welcome to our show. We're doing well, so having a wonderful day on this 10th April 2025. Today we're going to be doing a couple of videos. Going to be having a lot of fun. We have so much content to do. Plus we have to upload some clips, so looking forward to the rest of the day. But let's start it with a little bit of a sweetness, a little bit of a sugar, a little bit of a little treat to start the day. And that little treat is maple bread. So this is a maple butter. As you guys know, I'm Canadian. So if I can enforce a couple of stereotypes, right? I'll do it. What stereotype do I wanna? What stereotype do I want to enforce? We love snow. We love poutine, and we're fervent maple eater. Yeah. There's a lot of other things, but I cannot think about anything right now. So instead of thinking, there's some tasting. They both start with a T, and they both end with an ink. I have an inkling that this is gonna be fun. So maple butter is in itself, you guys understood butter in itself, right? It's supposed to be a really nice texture for the butter. It's supposed to be really nice on toast. I do not like it on toast because I do feel like it's a bit too sweet. Like even Nutella on toast, it's a bit too sweet. So if you casual butter, you do the butter normally, and then infuse it with the syrup, the maple syrup. And the maple syrup in itself has a really nice quality to it. Because when you look at it, right, it almost gives this consistency of caramel, right? But it's maple syrup. So why we got that is because, and this is the craziest thing. This is the craziest thing. So how do you make caramel, technically speaking? Caramel is mainly two ingredients, butter and sugar. People will be adding cream, people will be adding sea salt. I do like the casual butter and sugar. This is actual butter. So there's just dairiness, but there's also this fattiness to it. Now the maple syrup is extremely sweet. So you kind of have this caramel texture because it is the same ingredient as caramel. So without further ado, let's look at this. Let's go here. Let's just taste it. And definitely a real common maple. If a Canadian, it tastes like maple on ice with certain creaminess in it, and it's quite nice. It's nuts because I know it's supposed to be a spread, but to me it really tastes creamy, right? It almost tastes like a sucre à la crème. I don't know how you call it in English. It's like a sugar brownie. It doesn't have maple, so it's really nice. It reminds me about myself, about my childhood a lot. It's nuts. I told you guys about this story before a million times, but I'm gonna say it again. I love my father, right? But he wasn't the best cook. My father, and I know I'm repeating myself, and if you hear the story, I'm sorry. If you didn't hear the story, I'm not sorry. My father was a dude that's very simple man. I don't care about what I'm eating, as long as I'm eating. I need to eat. As a child, I ate potato, baked potato, and ham. One of them I can't remember, right? Now, when we go to the Sugar Shack, which is Cabane Sucre in French, there was a lot of meal on the table, but it was mostly see the Sugar Shack are supposed to be this experience, this Canadian experience of what it was like back in the days where maple was like gold, right? And it's nuts because I'll have to check the story of maple syrup, and that could be a good video. That could be a cool video to do because I'm Canadian. But you would go there, and it's really simplistic. So you'll get delicious omelets, you'll get little sausage, you'll get beans, which I don't like, and you'll get ham, which I don't like. So I would eat my fill with omelets, right? Now my favorite thing was oreilles de Christ, which was little teas of fried lard, and I would like that so much I would fill my pocket with lard. But it was very salty, very salty, and I would go there to get maple. And since there was this kind of rule at my father's place where I wasn't allowed of sugar, right? So the maple syrup, I would get myself to a point where I was sick because I know I wouldn't have some till the next year. So it's kind of crazy cool. It's kind of amazing, and that is the beauty. So yeah, this is delicious. I loved it. Don't blink. It's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Content Show. We're gonna do warm-ups. Having a wonderful day on this 10th April 2025. Today we're talking about a subject that is a sensitive subject. You could even call it making myself vulnerable, because the subject of the video is being vulnerable. Before we start, let me flex a little bit. Uploading clips, filming tower, right? The tower. So yeah, so we're doing good. We're busy, but we're doing good. So today we're talking about vulnerability, and there's a very specific reason as to it, right? Now, it's the economy right now is not bad, but with the old tariff of USA, a lot of people are worried. A lot of places might be closing, and the economic situation isn't perfect. So there's a lot of worry here, right? Now, my mom, and this is going to be a blueprint as to who I am. My mom is very helpful. My mom always has this desire to help. My mom, if she want to help, I cannot tell her no. Because she'll push, she'll insist to a point where she's going to get into a fight because I don't accept her help, right? So what I do with my mom, and again, people will say, oh, you're trying to manipulate your own mother. I'm not trying to. With my mom, what I'm going to try to do is, I know that she wants to help, so I'm going to tell her, hey, you can help with this and this and this, and it's going to be little things, but she still feel like she's helpful, right? Now, my father, they both had such a different ideology, if you will, to raise a child. Clip, let's work a little bit. My father was really hands-off. I was born in the 90s. The 90s were fucking amazing. It was about discovering self and being on your own and kind of navigating through life, through it. the 90s were possibly the very first generation raised by TV, you know? And that's insane to think about it. Because, like, right now we're seeing an influx in the number of mobile game there is, right? We're seeing a huge influx. In the 90s, people understood that, okay, well, there's a lot of money to be made by making kid shows. Because we got memorabilia, we got some gifts, we got some shows, we got some. For example, I'm talking about the successory per excellence. We're talking about something like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was super profitable because of the show, right? If it wasn't for the show, nobody would give a shit about Yu-Gi-Oh. And I mean this respectfully, of course. So now, what ended up happening, which was kind of crazy cool, was length, okay? The whole social aspect to it changed. So my father was like, okay, well, guess what? I was raised that way, you'll be okay. And my father had it hard because he was the oldest kid of 6 siblings, and his father wasn't reliable. So even at a very young age, he would run after me. And my father was a weird guy. He was like, you're gonna be doing the same thing as I do, but I had the TV. He didn't. My father was a really weird guy in a sense of, there was a lot of instances where, how can I say that? There's a lot of instances where there could have been some consequences, or it could have been rougher, and he wasn't. So, you know, he could have said, hey, do the chores, we get chores, but he didn't give it me chores, and I don't know why. Maybe he didn't believe in it. Maybe he had a childhood where the chores were too much for him. Like, I'm not gonna do that to my own son, but it wasn't the case. However, my father would also do things like, okay, well, you were bad, go into your room. But in my room, and this was something I never understood. I never understood. He would tell me, you've been a bad boy, go to your room. But in my room, you would have everything. You would have radio, you would have music. Well, radio music is the same thing, but you have books, right? I had anything and everything in my room. There was even a pantry with food. So if I was hungry, I could get a snack, you know? So why did he send me to my room when you know I like it so much? Well, because for him, it was the perfect compromise. I was still being in a place where I was being taught a lesson, but it wasn't something that was too rough for a kid, right? And it was nice because, you know, there was a leniency. There was a leniency and the righteousness. There was a leniency and how strict he was. He was an asshole, but he wasn't that big of an asshole, you know? As far as he wasn't an asshole, right? Growing up, I was afraid of him. He was an asshole, but as far as assholes go, he was a pretty soft one. That sounded so wrong, and I do apologize for the imagery. So, long story short, he's more of an end off, and lately he's been helping me a lot. And his way of helping is actually weird. He'll give me like a coffee thing and say, hey, I got this for you. He'll give me some sausage from Costco because they're on special. They're not on special. Say, hey, I thought about you. You know, it's been helping me a lot. Now, technically speaking, right, I'm getting both my parents to help. Technically speaking, with you guys, when we do the weight loss, we're doing more live, and people are super generous. But I'm reliant on you guys. And yesterday we did a video, and this is kind of like a follow-up. We did a video on being alone and the need to socialize, right? Well, when you don't have a need to socialize, when you're independent, right? When you're alone, the first thing that you learn is to be independent. When you're independent, the first thing you learn is to rely on yourself, right? So you're not used to that. It's not kindness, but you're not used to being helped. And it's a beautiful thing because you're not used to being helped because people don't see you as needing help, right? And it's funny, I met a girl. That was almost a year ago. I met a girl, and we met in a life, in somebody else's life, and then she would come to my life, but then I had this guilt because I was like, yo, this guy, where we met, let's call him X. We met on X's stream. X's was streaming, and I'm like, dude, he's streaming. Why don't you go to his life, right? And I felt bad because he worked so hard to get the view that he has. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, yeah, but you're different. And I'm like, how am I different? You constantly need help. So you don't need help. You get along with yourself. You get shit done on yourself. And that was a kind of pride for me, you know, being independent. All those nights where I was alone, and I don't know if, and I'm not saying that he did, but there was a sense of pride. My father knew that he could not necessarily manipulate me, but he could make me think at least that there's a kind of pride to take care of yourself, right? And it was nice. It was such a beautiful thing because you would go to work a lot, and I would be on my own at home, and I would watch TV and eat snacks. It was great, but it was also like, you know, I was permanently more when I was alone, but there was also a kind of a limit, right? Kind of a limit to how much I could get done or do, and um, would say things like, "You took care of yourself, good job," which she didn't say a lot. So to me, it felt really special, right? But now, I don't know if they're helping me because they see me as being vulnerable. Now, being vulnerable, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I always feel bad about it. For example, um, uh, tomorrow is my father's birthday. Tomorrow's my father's birthday, and they're going out to a restaurant. And my stepmom, she called me and she's like, "Yo, I'll pay for you. Just come, I'll pay for you." And although I'm super grateful for that, I'm like, I feel bad because I feel like I'm taking advantage of you. I'm so used to doing things on my own. I'm so used to not getting help. And when I do get help, it feels very disingenuous. When I do get help, it feels very like, dude, you don't need to do that, right? It is almost to a point of, it's almost to a point where I don't acknowledge that I need help, right? And it's a classic case of, well, I didn't realize how hurt I was before I saw the wound. I didn't realize how fat I was until I was forced to climb the stairs, right? And you realize things, and you're like, okay, well, this is how you see me as someone that needs help? Is this the way that everybody sees me? And again, there's nothing wrong with needing help, right? But there is something wrong with taking advantage of people. There is something wrong with constantly asking for help. And I don't, you know, it's harder for me. So yes, it is this new reality right now where we're feeling vulnerable because people might possibly see us as vulnerable. And it's insane because this is all a construct. It's all a construct of the mind. It's all a construct of, well, if they see me like that, maybe I am. You know? And I don't think that's true. I don't think that this is something that's even remotely possible. Of course, there's instances of, well, you could have done better. Of course, there's instances of, well, could have done things differently. There's always going to be the instances of, you could have took another road, right? But in the end, you're here, and it's such a complicated context. I've always had this problem. When somebody does something nice for me, I feel the obligation to do something nice for them. So I stopped doing nice things for people because I was like, I don't want you to feel obligated I don't want you to feel like you owe me something because you don't. But then people would do it out of the kindness of their heart. Like, no, bro, I know I don't owe you anything. I'm just doing this because I want to. And I was like, wow, this is actually quite nice. It's actually quite kind, right? But at the same time, you're like, fuck, now you did something nice for me. I want to do something nice for you. So, did I stop recording? Please tell me. Yes, I am recording. Nice. When someone does something nice for me, I feel like it. You know, it's a weird thing because do I think I need some help? No. Do I think I could get on my own just fine? Yes. But it's a complex thing because some people do something nice for you, and then you feel that you should be doing something nice for them. You're not able to because you don't have the means to help them, right? Or you're in a position where, compared to them, in a bad position. Good. Okay, that's good. Well, she's super kind. She just texted me and said, hey. As I said, I didn't. So she texted me and said, hey, I'll pay for you. Now, technically speaking, and I know this is super wrong and this is super mean, but she's my stepmom. We're not related, right? If my father did that, I wouldn't say anything. But for her, I'm like, I feel a bit, I feel a bit, not necessarily uncomfortable, but not really comfortable with the situation, right? So it's weird to be vulnerable. It's weird to be vulnerable, and it's a nice thing that possibly the nicest thing about making content for 4 years is and making content every single day for 4 years is you guys know me, you guys see me, you guys know I'll react. So I don't think there's been a lot of cases where I needed some help. I don't think there was a lot of cases where I was being vulnerable. There was some cases, of course. I think if you spend 4 years and there's nothing wrong with you, then you're hiding shit, But at the same time, it's always a case of we were down and we got back up. And now the truth is I don't know how to get back up. So I might not be vulnerable and I may not be in a position where I'm in distress or I'm in a position where I'm so worried about everything and anything, right? But I'm also in a position where I'm starting to feel like, okay, well, there's a couple of things that you could change, And it sucks. It sucks. It sucks because nobody wants to admit that they need help, right? I'm seeing a person. I'm not gonna say who, because I don't wanna throw her under the bus. But I'm seeing her, right? And it's actually quite a nice thing when talking about vulnerable. I didn't think about this before we made the video, but now I'm thinking about it. And she's always posting about how she doesn't like the way she looks. She doesn't like life. She's sad. She's anxious, right? And she's nice to me, so I felt bad for her. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? You doing okay? Are you feeling good? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, and she put a video, and she was like, oh, I don't like the way I look. I told her, I think you look fine. I think you look amazing. And she was like, I don't agree. And then I saw it as she needs reassurance, right? Because I had exes like that. Now, just to be clear, there's no romantic interest towards this person, right? But it's also nuts because how can I put this into word? I was trying to, and I had to insist a little bit. And she kept on telling me, no, 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 no. So after 4 or 5 comments, I gave up. I'm like, fuck, if you don't want me to help you out, I'm not going to help you out, right? And then the very next day, she makes another video where she said, I don't like the way I look. And now I didn't comment because I'm like, dude, you're not going to take the help. But maybe it wasn't about me trying to help her. Maybe it wasn't about what I was saying. Maybe it was about the fact that she didn't think that she needed help. Or she didn't want to admit that she needed help, That's completely different. That is completely different. Yeah, it's amazing. Life is amazing. Life, the perception of people. Being vulnerable, but also seeing people vulnerable, right? And then there's another question. Are you helping people because you feel like you need to help yourself? Are you helping people in the hope they will help you back? Or are you helping people because you cannot help yourself? And those 3 cases, you're in a position of, I don't know. That's a scary thing. That is a scary thing. That is exactly what is scary about this. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Double Link, it's your boy Link, and welcome to the Content Show. It's a new one, having a wonderful day on this 10th April 2025. We're filming the nature, we're filming the tower, we're uploading videos, and we're filming the tower here. So quite a busy morning, but we're doing okay. We're doing fantastic. I want to go back on a video that I did yesterday. And that video was the need to socialize. And I was watching this video because, again, it was taking some... Okay. I was watching this video again because I deleted TikTok. Because TikTok has a tendency to take a lot of place. And TikTok, when you boot it up, if your video file is too long, like you guys know that I do some long-ass videos. Those videos will take a while to upload. So the first one I had to do yesterday, the first one that I went to upload was the video, the need to socialize, right? And I did the whole video, and I don't usually listen to my own video, but I did, and I need to rectify something, and it's actually a really good thing. It's actually a really, really positive thing. I think yesterday I was talking about how I feel like, okay, well, I'm ready to have more fun. Okay, I feel like I'm ready to date, right? and something extremely amazing happened. There's evolution there at the same time. Like there's a couple of years, even when I started at the other job, I was willing to take any form, and when I say any, I mean any form of friendship or any form of affection because there was so little in my life, right? Now we're able to say, like for example, right? I had a TikTok live about 2 days ago, and there was two trolls, right? And they were both assholes, and I did say that in the stream. And then I was in a really good mood because I just worked out. So like, dude, I'm exhausted. You're not gonna make me tired. I'm exhausted. You're not gonna make me mad, right? There's no way you're gonna make me mad. I'm too tired to be mad, right? And then when the guy saw that I wasn't reacting, and I made one of the troll laugh, and the troll became nice to me, right? And there was another troll who was constantly pushing the envelope and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to get a reaction. And then the funny thing is, I speak French, yeah, and this guy didn't. One of my mod, Nadel Jordan, was in my chat, and she knew that he wasn't speaking in French, so she came to me in French. She's like, "Yo, he's a fucking dumbass, right?" And I'm like, "Let him go." And then I was insulting him in French, which possibly should have not done. But then again, the guy was trolling for multiple, I would say 20 minutes, right? And constantly spamming and spamming and spamming. And then the guy who warmed up to me was like, "How did you call me?" Because I called the two of them dumbass, and they were both dumb. If you're trolling someone, you're a dumbass. Why are you doing that? But at the same time, it's funny because the guy who warmed up to me is like, he got offended. He said, "What do you mean? I thought we were cool." I said, "Dude, you came in to troll. That you like me now. It's if you didn't like me, you would still be trolling, you know? So that's your problem. That's not my problem, right?" And I remember time, like I said yesterday, where I would have took anybody, the troll, if they were not nice, I would have took them to my stream. I would have took them into the content because I was so lonely, but also I felt like I needed so much. See, yesterday we did also a video which was called why aren't we giving up, right? And the simple fact where I don't feel as deep diving into the content creation as I was, the simple factor of, okay, well, I want to content create, but still to a degree where it's healthy, right? Still to a degree where, okay, we did this, we did that, it's healthy, let's move on and we'll see how it goes in the next years. So for example, next year, there's going to be a lot less content being made, however, we're going to be seeing how the channel grow. Are the video that I did last year or this year, are there enough to make the channel grow? Or are we going to have to wait until we have another break to make some more content, right, and rectify the shot? It's like, the way I see it, and I was talking to Shao yesterday, more my best friend, and Shao is a huge fan of sports. And he was talking about basketball, right? And then he was saying that he was the player that played the most. He was playing 22 minutes on the court, 22 minutes, right? And then they still lost. And then he was really down about that, and I was like, dude, how much did other people play? And then he told me the people and how much time they played. And there was this guy who played for 12 minutes, right? And I'm like, don't be mad at the person who played 22 minutes, who did their best. They had the person that did 18 minutes and didn't do enough. You know, it's a team effort. It's a team sport. The world doesn't fall upon your shoulder, bro. Because he does feel like that sometimes. And he mentioned it to me, right? So I'm like, don't do that, bro. And then with the content creation, since I'm taking a step back from this obsession, right? Which is a great thing, thank God. I hope you guys are happy, right? With the obsession of making content, we're in a really really cool position, but also a really weird one where I'm like, even if I don't get views or comments, I don't really mind. So when the guy came to troll, I wasn't in a position of, yo, I need to win them over. I'm like, if you like me, fine. If you don't like me, fuck you. I don't care, right? And I know that's not nice to say, but at the same time, I'm not gonna kiss somebody's ass. They like me if I don't need to, you know. I'll kiss my boss's ass because I need to, because he pays the bill. You're not paying my bills. You're not doing shit for me. If you're nice, the simple fact of you being nice to me, or a nice guy, right? is enough. Yesterday we had a TikTok live, right? And we had somebody, and she came in, and she wanted to talk about something, right? And I could see that she had a hard time explaining herself. I'm like, hey, do you want, by any chance, do you want to go in the corner? And she's like, yes, please. Right? And then she came to the corner, and then she ended up staying. And then I was saying, thank you and thank you. She's like, why are you thanking me? Dude, thanks to you, the content is better. Right? You did something for me. And she's like, oh, okay. She didn't need to do much. The little she did was a lot for me, you know? I think this is important. So where are we going with that? There's actually a big evolution in the psyche that we have right now. And this big evolution in the psyche that I have right now is how desperate we are for human connection. Yesterday, I was talking about how I would love to have more human connection, but not to a level where it's unhealthy. Like, you're open-minded to make some new relationship, but not to a degree where, okay, well, I need to. I would like, but I don't need to. I would like, but it's not an obligation. I would like, but I won't die if I don't do it, you know? So it's a really nice thing. And as I was saying, lately, I put myself out there more romantically, right? And there's a point in my life where I would go on Badoo or on Tinder. I would get one match, right? Okay, so we didn't get a lot of matches, but still. And because we would not get a lot of matches, the match that we did get, we would go, not obsessive over it, but I was like, holy shit, I need to make this work, right? Because this is the only match that I had today. I need to make this work. And I was willing to make extra effort into someone I didn't really like, because I was so desperate, right? And that was bad. That was bad. But then, was it bad, or do you understand the need for socialization? Do you understand the reason why we do it? Did you agree with the reason why we're doing it? Right? And it's not necessarily the action that you did, is the fact that we understand, right? That's important. That is important, because you complete psyche change. You complete psyche change. Okay, well, he did this and this and this. This is why. Well, I understand the reason as to why, or I think he's an asshole. I understand the reason as to why. Okay, I can forgive the why, right? So it's a great thing. It's a great thing. You just talk about being vulnerable, right? There's a video on that. Now, the video about being vulnerable. When I feel vulnerable, do I let people in, or is my guard up? Right? And that's now the true question, because the true question is, some people you'll let in, some people you won't. And that's where things are different. It's not necessarily about, oh, I let you in. It's about why I let you in, and why I let you in, but I didn't let the other person in. Because I know that I can trust you, or you can help, versus somebody that I would have asked and they didn't really care. Right? I had this it's funny. This morning we had a conversation with these neighbor, with the neighbor that are sharing the balcony with me, and they're super kind, super kind. And we never talk because, again, it's a very individualist society. Canada is, so we don't talk. And this morning, we simply said good morning, right? And it was nice. And then there's other neighbors that I don't like at all. He's judgmental. He thinks he's above everybody else. He makes a joke about everybody else. You know, he's not insulting, but passive aggressive, right? And about 3 weeks ago, he comes in and he gave me shit. I don't remember as to why, but he gave me shit. And he's insisting. And I was listening to him. I was standing still as he was giving me shit. And then it hit me. You're not my fucking dad. Who are you to me? You're living in the same building as me. You're not even a neighbor. I don't have to listen to you. So I just left. And then he ran after me. And he was like, hey, I'm talking to you. I looked at him and I said, I don't care. Now, was that nice of me? No. Of course not. But this guy allowed himself to be mean to me because I allow it. The bully that I had for years at work, was my fault. We didn't put some boundaries. We didn't tell him stop it. We didn't tell him, hey, I'm not okay with that. We're just fucking pouting. We're just fucking, oh, I don't like that. You're not gonna change shit by doing that, right? You're not gonna change shit. I allow that. Now the reason as to why I allow it is because I had so little interaction that I was like, okay, well, if it's shitty interaction, it's an interaction, right? It's the simple fact, it's the simple concept of a good deed. So people will go in and say, okay, well, I want to do a good deed every single day, right? So you go every single day and you do a good deed. Who the fuck are you to say, hey, this person deserves a good deed and this person doesn't? Who the fuck are you to say, I'm only gonna do one nice thing per day? Doesn't make any fucking sense, you know? It's just stupid fucking societal norm that are outdated and baseless. So yeah, and I was proud of myself for yesterday because those shows came in, and I wasn't mad. Well, it wasn't yesterday; it was the day before. And I wasn't mad. I would react to it. I wasn't mad. I was like, you know what? This is the first time in so long that the people came, right? And of course, I felt bad because I did insult the guy who became nice. But at the same time, this person wasn't nice to begin with. Wasn't nice. You came in with bad intention. You left with good intention. That's cool. But you came in with bad intention. And I've been having this huge problem. This huge problem for the last year or 2 years. I've been having this ultimate issue as to where I do not know how to react with people. I don't know how to be social. The reality is I know how to be social, right? I do know how. I can be very kind, I can be very nice. The problem is I was being kind and nice to everybody. So then everybody takes a little bit out of you. They take a little bit out of you. They take a little bit out of you. And then when the people that deserve it, your real friend, they come in and say, hey, can you be nice to me? I'm like, oh, sorry, the bank is closed because I gave out all the kindness. Oh wait, who's the asshole here? You. Even though you were nice to other people, you're still an asshole because those friends that are there for you, you weren't there for them. Now, being exhausted is not an excuse because you chose to be exhausted, right? You chose to be exhausted. If I was able to say, you know what, I don't know you. Like there's this person, right? And she came in, and I didn't even know her. I thought about this person a lot. Well, not a lot, but still. And she came in and she was like, hey, you should put some hashtag on your video. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I should do that. And then the next day, she came back to me and we talked. And this time we just talked about life. I was like, okay, it's cool. And then the third day, I was like, she came back to talk to me in a row. And I'm like, listen, I appreciate the fact that you want to talk. I don't know you. We don't know each other. We're not friends. You're very kind, but I don't know you. Now that was an asshole move, but at the same time, it's true. And she took it the wrong way. But the reality is, you're not gonna get along with everybody, or you're not supposed to be friends with everybody. She was super kind, but then I didn't want it to become like this super important thing, right? I don't know why. I don't know why I did that. See, the guy we blocked yesterday because he was self-serving. We did block him, but how many weeks when we met him and we knew he was not a good person? How many weeks did we let him in our lives and our content? A lot. Why did we do that? You know? I don't know. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Don't blink is you blink. Welcome to the controversial. Guys, doing well. So have a wonderful day on this 10th April 2025. Tomorrow's my dad's birthday. Today we're going to be talking about a cool subject about topic. We're talking about a cool subject. We'll be talking about kindness. Kindness in itself. I've had this new perception of kindness, and that's actually really, really kind of cool. I was watching, for any show, I was watching Jerry Springer. Right? And I was thinking a lot of those people had issues because of their parents, right? And it dawned upon me. I'm like, yo, I'm so lucky that I have the parents that I have, right? And then this thought stayed with me. I'm so lucky that I have the parents that I have. This thought really stuck to me. And I don't know why it stuck to me that much, but it did, right? And then you're in a position of like, wow, okay, you really feel strongly about that. Why? Okay, well, my parents are nice. You got good values, right? You got good values. And then it dawned upon me, I must have good values. There are two things for that, right? And then lately I've been trying to be kind to people. Yesterday we had a person in my life, and then this is the first time we talk. So technically this is not true. Technically it's half true. We talked once before. This is the first time we talk voice to voice, not face to face. And I go in and I need to go because I'm cooking. And I'm like, can I trust you with the stream? Can I trust you with the live? She's like, yeah, no problem. And I hear her say, he's super nice. And it's something that I get a lot. Oh, he's a nice guy. And it's a point of pride for me to be nice to people. It's a point of pride for me to be like, okay, well, I'm a person that they think they can rely upon, you know? And then this mindset of my parents being nice came back to me. And the simple concept of kindness completely changed. Am I nice because it's in my nature? Or am I nice because it is nurtured? The classic question of nature versus nurture. Am I kind because I was taught kindness? Or am I kind because I think it's the right thing to do? Even if I think it's the right thing to do, my whole first train of thought, my whole first way of my very first psyche was a direct result of my parents' psyches, right? My parents, they were the blueprints, and I was like, okay, well, I want to copy them, right? And it doesn't matter how much I change, the foundation of who we are is the blueprints of the parents, right? And it is kindness. It's super important. Now, why is this important? Well, if you're kind because your parents were kind, if you're kind because it comes naturally to you, that's a great thing. But is it genuine? Would you choose if it's a crazy question, because if by nature you're kind, right? Doesn't matter how shitty your situation is, doesn't matter how shitty your parents are, doesn't matter how shitty your boyfriend or your girlfriend is, doesn't matter how shitty your friends are, doesn't matter how shitty your co-workers are, you're a nice person, right? You're a nice person. By nature. But then how nice can you be if it's nurtured by you? So nature can't beat nature, right? I'm gonna go very graphic. I'm a dude. I see a pretty girl, like an erection. I can't help it. I'm human, right? But then this is a physical reaction. The emotional reaction is to be nice, right? The physical reaction, I cannot help it. The emotional, I can change it, right? And that was the scary part. That is the scary part, you know? You always thought about yourself. And of course, there's some pride in there. There's some narcissistic intent to it. Oh, I'm a nice guy, right? It's a point of pride. It's a point of selling myself, right? And I'm very social, right? But what if it wasn't? What if it wasn't true? What if it wasn't who I was? You see, I am a very social person. I'm very capable of speaking. Both of my parents are very social. My father talks a lot. My mom, she's a great listener. What if it was only something that I learned or I emulate by seeing them? And if that's the case, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? And the reality is, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. Now, is that a big deal? Is that a problem? No. But if you're a kind person, but you're only a kind person because that's what you were taught, it's not good. Then again, you can think that, okay, well, it doesn't really matter why you're kind. The important part is you're kind, right? But I think the intention, it does matter, right? Because then there's this following train of thoughts. There's this complete world alive where my parents were kind, I'm kind. I'm hoping my kids. Fuck. I'm hoping my kids are kind. Right? But is it a certainty that we're kind? Is it a certainty that they will always be there? They will always be similar to me, right? And then there is something that really changed the dice. It really changed the game. So I was watching Love on the Spectrum yesterday, right? And it dawned upon me. What if, because love on the spectrum is people that have autism, that have Down syndrome, right? And they don't bother themselves with construct of kindness. That's what they are, right? They don't have a filter, right? And now that's when the simple concept of nurture versus nature is important. That's when it really becomes important. What? What do we do? Today is gonna be the day that it kinda come back to you. I know we thought it somehow got to do. I don't believe in anybody feels the way I do about you now. Yeah, I know what to do. I know what to do. That's pretty much it. So are you kind by nature or are you kind by nurture? Question. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Culture Show. Guys, doing well, so having a wonderful day on this 10th April 2025. Today we're talking about a different subject. Today we're talking about another subject. Today we're talking about the subject of CVs, resume, and job finding. You guys know this is the current arc. We're trying to lose weight, we're trying to better ourselves, we're trying to find a job, right? Yesterday, I had a call, right? I had an interview, right? And it was someone that I met to the job fair. They want to offer me a job of selling, right? And I know it's gonna be hard to believe because it's a scene out of a fucking movie. Now the scene of the fucking movie is what? This person told me it's basically the scene of the Wolf on Wall Street, and they're like, okay, well, sell me this pen, right? But it was very different because in this scene they take this guy, right, and it's basically it's weird how we associate. It's weird how we associate movies with real life. So in this scene, there's a bunch of people that are really good salesmen, and they have proof of being a salesman, and they sold the action, and they sold, and they sold, and they sold. And then there's this character, this drug dealer, played by John Bertel, right? And then the main character, which is Leonardo DiCaprio, which played Jordan Belfort, right? He has a question. Sell me this pen. It's a very famous scene, right? So the guy said, okay, well, I'm going to sell you this pen, right? So the guys who were trying to sell me, they were saying, sell me this product. So I tried to sell it to him, right? And then their answer was, you're a good salesman, right? But you don't have any experience. So I don't know how you would do on a day-to-day basis. And I'm like, you just tested me. You just tested me, right? And it's a shame because you're pushed to a paper, a proof that you're able to sell, and that paper is an experience. That paper is experience, and this experience is from having other experience. If those are the other experience, they want you to have previous experience. So it's more so a case of who is the first one, right? And it's a scary thing. It's a really scary thing because it's a cycle. You give me a chance, so this guy give me a chance. This guy give me a chance, so this guy give me a chance. This guy give me a chance, and this guy give me a chance, right? But where do you start a cycle, right? Give me a second. So yeah, so and for the first time in my life, I was asking for a paper. It's like a diploma for high school. It's like a diploma for college. It's like a diploma for university. But you always come pre-prepared. And this is the crazy thing about this experience. I wouldn't go for a job that needs a college diploma because I don't have a college diploma. I wouldn't go for a job that needs a university diploma because I do not have a diploma from a university. I know that. I'm aware of that. So I wouldn't do it, right? But in this case, why did I go to a sales job if I didn't have experience in sales job? I came in without a diploma. Well, yeah, this mentality that you're able to achieve things even though you weren't able to achieve them yesterday. You have this idea where you want to do something that you never done before, right? And it's a crazy thing because we're doing this in every single sphere. For example, content creation. People will not give you a chance if you don't have viewers. People will not give you a chance if you don't have subscribers. That's a crazy thing. Views equate to quality. Views equate to quality, but the views come from subscriber because the algorithm will push you, right? The algorithm pushes out the big content creator because they prove themselves. The only reason that they were able to prove themselves is because the algorithm pushes them. So again, it's a cycle, right? So right now we're having some jobs, and we're trying to move forward with finding a job, but it's been expected. See, I made a mistake, and people say, okay, well, what's the mistake? The mistake wasn't that I applied too late. The mistake was like, okay, well, what is the next possible job? And I never asked myself the job. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew in which domain I wanted to go, but I never really asked myself, what would be a possible place? Is what you want realistic, or you're overselling yourself? And then you realize you oversold yourself on a job to sell. And that is the beauty of the thing. You sold yourself the idea that you can do that, but you weren't able to be hired as a salesman. Diploma, proof, a system of required prerequisites that are for some unrealistic. See, this doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, right? It's a job. But it doesn't in the grand scheme of things because you could say, well, it doesn't in the grand scheme of things because you could say, okay, well, it's a system of meritism. Meritism is the simple action of I did a lot for the society. Society does a lot for me, right? It's give and give. How much I contribute and how much I'm worth, right? But if I'm not able to contribute, then the single system of meritism is a complete fraud. That's the scary part. Liar. 50%? Okay, good. You came here to defend me. There you go, and there you go. Don't let your ego be wrong. See through the fire. New empire, your new empire. Don't make me kill you again.